Hi folks, today we're going to be talking about how to configure DNS for different users on the same Linux machine. Um, this should work for a number of different Linux distributions. So from the Clean Browser homepage, we'll go to support. This is going to take you to our knowledge base. And here you can just type in DNS, there it is, how to change DNS based on user login in Linux. So there are a few requirements, just basic understanding of how Linux works, etc. I'm going to assume you know this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through this as if I were you. So I put this document together, and let's see kind of if it works now. So first thing we want to do is log into my Linux machine. So here on the right-hand side, I'll do that. First, I'll log into my Bastion server. And then from here, I'll jump over to a machine that I have set up for this. Okay. All right. So now I'm logged in. So the first thing is, let's take a look and see who all has access to this machine. So this command using awk allows us to look at all the user IDs with a ID greater than 1,000, which is usually designed for new IDs you add. So let's take a look and see who's on this machine. Okay, cool. So we have an admin and we have a child configuration or user configured on this machine. No problem. That sounds great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create this DNS switch shell script. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I go and I take a look, there should be no file. Perfect, there isn't. So let's go here. I'll just copy paste that. Okay. Now from here, I should be able to just copy this script as it is right into it. So let's do that. Okay, there I am. Only difference I want to do is here where it says if user1, we want to go back to that list of users we created. So let's say that if it's an admin, I want them to use only the security filter. And if it's a child, I want them to use the full family filter. So just to kind of help you understand what's happening here, we've created these rules that say that if user is equal to admin, which is the ones we saw, configure IPv4, IPv with primary 1 and 2 using the DNS filters we provided. And then IPv6, the same thing, primary and secondary. Then for the child, set them on the family filter at the 168 for IPv4, and then the corresponding IPv6 as well. Anyone else that is not an admin or a child is going to get defaulted to the adult filter as shown here. Okay, that's all we're doing. Then we update the resolve config accordingly. Okay, we let the user know that DNS has been updated. Pretty straightforward. And we put it into a location that everyone can access. So let's go ahead and save that. So this Etsy file, everyone should be able to access. Now, one thing we're going to do though is we're going to make sure that this file initiates when the user logs in so that we can do the corresponding change. Okay, so to do that, we'll put it into the bash rc. And so we can just kind of go from root, local home, admin, bash rc. We'll update that. Just go all the way to the bottom is fine. Insert, and let's copy this, assuming you follow the same kind of structure we gave you. So it's looking, and then it's going to run this configuration file. Perfect, cool. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing for the other user. It has to be done for both because it's going to initiate once they log in. So let's do that. Down. Okay, so it is uploaded there. Perfect. Okay. I'll come back to what's going on here later. Next thing we want to do is verify permissions. This is super important. I'm already root, so I'll just do a chmod from here. So that's going to ensure that this file is executable. Now, one thing to note is that you have to update the sudoers file if you want to run it as a non-sudo user. So give me 1 second here. Yeah, so when we're updating the sudoers, here it is. What we're going to do is you're essentially going to allow the admin user and the child user to run this script only and run the corresponding commands as identified in the script. Okay, so this is going to be important because if not, it's going to prompt you for a password, for the sudo password, and you don't necessarily want to add admin child to the sudoers group and give them full root access. You simply want them to run the script and run a few commands on the script. So that's what we're doing here, and that's why we do this initially. Okay, so and that's it. So that should work. So now let's take a look and see what happens. So if I log out of that and then I log back in as root, let's see kind of where we're at. Okay, so now I'm logged in as root. Let's see kind of what resolve tells me. Okay, cool. So we're set up as 10 and .11. All right, and that's what we should expect here because I logged in as root, not as admin and child. So now let's take a look and see what happens if I log in as admin. So again, I'll go admin 192.46.219.105. Log in really quickly. Okay, so now I'm logged in here, and let's see what happens with this. Nice. So now you see that admin has switched over to the adult filter, which is what we will want based on here. Okay, cool. So now let's get out of there. Let's exit, and let's do this one more time, and let's do this as a child. 219.105. Okay. So now as a child, let's see what happens. Boom, exactly, we want it as a family filter. Perfect. Now, the only difference here, so in this instance, we used the free filters as as we talk about here. Okay, so these are the free filters. Now, if you're using a paid account, you can update these IPv4 and IPv6 values based on what's provided. The only other change you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back into the bash RC and you're going to want to update it to use your corresponding dynamic device URL. So if I were doing that, I would kind of get out of here. So let's go back to root. And then we would update the bash, for instance, on, say, admin. And then do the bash RC, come back down. And so then here, you just create a new line, and then we'll use a clean browsing dynamic DNS service. And you're going to update this ID. I need to update that, but you'll update this ID to be the one that corresponds with your account. And you do that for each profile. So for the child one, would have a unique ID, unique dynamic device per the profile you created, and then the same thing for the admin or any other profiles you create. Okay, so with that, I hope that's super helpful. If you have any questions, let us know. But that should do the trick. Thanks. Bye.